Getting lean will change your life more than anything that you do. More than making $1 million in a lottery, more than, finally getting your dream job. Getting lean has by far been the biggest needle mover in my life, but not only in mine, but with all the clients I've ever worked with. And I'm telling you this story from a perspective of, I've been a student. When I started this YouTube channel, it was my first year of medical school. I have worked with Fortune 500 CEOs. I've worked with NFL players. I've worked with artists, very famous artists with massive followings. And by far, the biggest thing that they ever did for themselves is getting lean. Now, I am going to explain to you what happens and why this is, and what effect it will have. And maybe this will encourage you to finally make that transition to getting lean, because it is just this edge of life. It is the cheat code to life. So a bit of perspective and a bit of background on me. When I started this YouTube channel, I was a student. I was broke. So broke, I got a scholarship. This isn't to say that my family isn't well off or that my family doesn't have anything, but as a man, I wanted to be able to take care of myself, right? And the one thing I hated was the way I looked and the way I felt. And that needed to change, right? I now got into med school. I studied my ass off, but I was ashamed of who I was. At the same time, I saw this parallel that I'm talking about reflect in all the people that I've ever worked with. I've worked with bus drivers, I've worked with CEOs, like I mentioned, and they felt the exact same way. So I'm gonna tell you the two factors that getting lean will really affect you with. The first factor we'll talk about is intrinsically, inside as a human, and then extrinsically. So intrinsically, inside, when you're not lean and you're not in great shape, you don't even want to look at yourself in the mirror. Or you look at your physique and it feels shameful. There's nothing proud that you're looking at. And imagine living in this body that you're just not proud of. It's like living in a house that doesn't look good. You don't want to invite anybody over. And I also didn't feel confident. So the people I would normally talk to or want to talk to, and especially when I was in university and med school, there were many girls I couldn't speak to because I just didn't feel confident. I was also very fearful. I was just so scared of making decisions and scared to do things, because it was always the same idea, the perpetuation of how I felt about myself that was really perpetuated to everything else around my life. And I behaved in this point of fear. My mind was also not open because I was so fearful. And if you think about it, who are the most successful people? They're not scared. The Superman is not someone who's scared. All the people we look up to aren't scared people or unconfident people. They have a confidence about them. So when I changed that, and I'll tell you guys, it's funny, when I first started trying to get lean, I was doing everything. I was spending 2 hours on the treadmill. This time, there was no videos online about calorie deficit and macros. I was eating at KFC for dinner because I thought, okay, this is where I should get my protein for muscle, not knowing that I was also eating a whole lot of fat. So I gained a lot of muscle, and that's how you guys saw how I got in my first ever transformation. Long story short, I finally got in shape. And I would look at myself in the mirror and I would just say, oh my God, that is the man that I always wanted to be. I look the closest I've ever have to looking like a superhero. And I would start seeing myself in the image that I would look at all those other people that I look up to. So all of a sudden, intrinsically, I felt confident. I felt amazing. So confident that I felt that, you know what, I need to tell the rest of the world what this feels like and looks like. And then there was the birth of my YouTube channel. And everybody, intrinsically, I just felt like I could speak more because I had something to share. I had something of value to give. I would also notice that I was now in shape. People were looking at me just a little longer. I would notice people are actually speaking to me a little bit more. Simply, I noticed when I was in the gym the place that I would go to as my non-confident self, all of a sudden I had more friends because I was in the gym. And I was wondering, why is that? And if you think about it, why is it that people stop other people who drive Lamborghinis in the street and ask them, hey, what do you do for a living? Or when someone's wearing a Rolex, or when someone is wearing Louis Vuitton or something, very valuable that not everybody has, why does that pique people's interest? And I finally felt that I had something that not everyone had, and that gave me confidence. Also, there's this beautiful thing that happens in terms of your confidence when you know you can do something that not everybody else can. That just gives you this feeling of value, like I mean something. So if you're not in shape, you're probably lacking all this, there's this big hole. And even then, right, intrinsically, I wanted to find a partner. And if you think about it, if you ever played on a team, you were probably picked last at some point. Maybe they didn't pick you. They picked you last to play soccer, or they picked you last to play basketball because you weren't in shape. All of a sudden, I noticed I was being picked first because I got in shape. So this is intrinsically inside. My confidence allowed me to expand my mind. And finally, this hole that I had in my life was filled by this confidence, this new version of me that I had. There's this godlike feeling you feel when you know that you can control how you look, how you have control over that, and you can change that at will. And I felt so powerful. Now let's talk about extrinsic. What are the outside things that changed? All of a sudden, I wanted to get a girlfriend. I wanted to, find partners. All of a sudden, I had a bigger pool of women who wanted to speak to me. I lived in Russia at the time. I would go to a bar and I wasn't going to women. Women were coming to me because they would see how I looked in a shirt and they would say, that's interesting because out of everybody in this bar, he's the best looking guy, or there's 5 guys out of the 100 who look good. So all the best girls would go to them. And I joined that category. So I had a higher pool of women that I could pick from. Now I have my wife. And part of that is because I look great and we met on Tinder. And I had pictures that looked better than someone, and luckily enough, she decided to swipe right on me. So extrinsically, I felt I could choose a bigger pool of women because I'd invested in myself. So there is a value that's in you that no one can take away. That's another thing about being in shape and getting lean, is that people can buy the Rolex, people can buy the Lamborghini. At some point, yes, there is a lot of value because not everybody. But even those people who can buy the Lamborghini and buy the Rolex cannot buy a physique. And even if they did surgery for it, or even if they took, some sort of drugs that made them do it, you can tell it's fake, right? And no one really appreciates fake. It almost taints things. So when you're lean and you're in good shape, people inherently have this deep and profound respect for you without even knowing your name or speaking to you, because they're like, that guy right there is doing something that I cannot do. And I tried it myself. Everybody in their life, most people have tried to get lean and they know they failed at it if they're not in shape. So inherently, before someone ever even speaks to you, they just see you in the street, they already have a level of respect for you because they know what having that 6-pack, that look, doing this, eating this diet every day is not easy. So before someone speaks to you, if you're a businessman, you won't imagine how many more business people told me, hey, Mike, I was able to lead my company so much better because they had a profound respect for me because they saw what I could do with my body. And the same applies. You have this high level of respect. And even so, I'm going to a mastermind in a week or so. And I don't go there with a Rolex. Yes, I can afford like nicer designer clothes now, but I don't. This is what I wear going there. And I do that because I don't need a Rolex to show people that I have value. Because people see me in that room of multimillionaires and they're like, well, I'm guessing I know what he does because he looks good. And I don't need to spend $20,000 or $30,000 or $100,000 and put that on my wrist. I could. Or I don't need to wear a $4,000, $5,000. And I've tried that. I bought that and it didn't give me any more value compared to when I got into shape. So that's another thing. you are pre-rich when you get into shape. Because once you're lean, it gives you all the qualities you need of discipline, consistency, putting your head down and working hard, and then repeating the same thing over and over again until you achieve success. Those same qualities, and trying again and again, and working and following this diet when no one is following it, and working when no one is watching, those are qualities of someone who's going to become successful. So it speaks volumes of who you are extrinsically. I got more opportunities as a result. I had celebrities text me. I have celebrities following me on Instagram because they say this guy has something that I don't. And that's really what value is when you can provide something to someone that is they can't achieve anywhere else. This is why people pay $4 million for a car. Cars go from A to B, but it's because that car is so unique that it charges so much more because there's one of one. This is why people spend so much money on watches or very unique things, because not everyone has that. So extrinsically, I always knew I was going to be successful as a result of what I could already do with my body. I knew if I just translated that in life, and even now, right, I maybe have dreams of being able to fly private, and maybe I want to hang out with the world celebrities. There's no doubt in my mind that that will happen, because I've seen myself consistently that no matter what I do, if I keep on doing good things and doing good things to my body, good things will happen to me. And it's what I learned from getting lean. So it allows you to be pre-rich. It allows you to command a higher level of respect. You find happiness within. And it allows you to move from this world, and to finally go into the small pocket of people who know how to take care of the one body they have. You don't get another life. You don't get another vessel, right? You can't transpond your brain into somebody else. And it is extremely life-changing. I tell people all the time, I would have never gotten through medical school because it helped me handle my stress. It helped me know how to study and be efficient with my time. It helped me learn consistency. I knew, okay, before I train, I need to do this work. It stopped me because I wanted to be healthier. I stopped partying. It stopped me from making mistakes because I was so focused on me, and I fell in love with that. So for all of you in there, and you're watching this because you want to be lean, it is probably the best decision you can do in your life. It doesn't matter if you're a millionaire, because it's going to give you another 20, 30 years to be a billionaire. It gives you more time because you're healthier. If you're a student and you're young and you're trying to get into shape, all the qualities you learn from getting lean, you're going to be able to apply that in your life for success. So this is what you need to do first. You need to be able to take care of you first before you can take care of everyone else. I'll leave the video here, man. Yeah, getting lean is the new pre-rich. Hope you guys like this video. Cheers. Let me make my meal because that's what I was going to do. Peace.